No. I can see you.
This is Melissa Turner, a 26-year-old model from North Carolina who creates adult content for explicit websites. She loves Halloween, horror movies, heavy special effects makeup, fantasy costumes, and acting in general.
I am Two Thorn Rose. You can call me Rose. I'm a cam model. I'm an artist. I love fitness. I like making videos about that and about my art and just about my daily life.
To understand who she really is, we need to go back a few years. Between 2011 and 2013, when she was just 18 and 19 years old, Melissa decided to completely change her life. Throughout her childhood and teenage years, she had been bullied because of her weight. Determined to transform herself, she committed to a strict diet and intense workouts. Within just 2 years, she went from 140 kilograms to 95. Her new appearance gave her a huge boost in confidence. Before long, she started dressing as fantasy characters and taking photos and videos for websites and social media. It was during this time that she entered the first serious relationship of her life with a man named Sean. Now surrounded by attention, Melissa realized she could also make money by creating revealing photos and videos. She didn't hesitate. She immediately began producing adult content under an account called. It didn't take long before her videos gained attention across multiple websites and attracted a large following. At that point, she quit both of her part-time retail jobs. Together with her boyfriend, she launched an entertainment website and opened a filming studio where they produced content for both themselves and other adult creators. Everything seemed to be going well until the middle of 2016. Her relationship with Sean came to an end, and with it, the studio shut down as well.
My channel over on YouTube where I was doing all of that stuff got deleted. I just want a place where I can post my videos, where I can talk about my life, where I can show my artwork, my cosplays, and I'm hoping Twitch is going to be my new home and that I'm not going to get deleted on here.
Even so, she continued building her presence on social media. Less than a year later, she met a 23-year-old man named Matthew Trussler on the dating app Tinder. Their relationship moved incredibly fast. What started as a simple introduction quickly turned into a passionate romance, followed by an engagement. Finally, in December 2017, the couple moved into a large home together in Florida. 2 years passed. On October 18, 2019, at exactly 8:45 that morning, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office received an emergency phone call.
911, what is your emergency?
911. I woke up on my boyfriend here. He was outside this morning. He was cold. He was just drinking. He's cold. I found him outside. The kitchen's a bloody mess. He's not breathing.
Why is the kitchen a bloody mess? Hello?
I don't know. I need paramedic.
Alright, stay on the line. I'm gonna connect you to fire rescue, okay?
Please get them here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cosplay County Fire Rescue. What's the address of the emergency? And tell me what's wrong.
He is non-responsive.
Let's take a look at the crime scene. The first thing that catches our attention after seeing Melissa covered in blood is a trail of blood stretching from the living room all the way into the kitchen. The kitchen is clearly the primary crime scene. Blood is splattered everywhere. Furniture and objects are completely overturned. A broken glass can be seen. Several kitchen knives are lying on the counter, along with a folding knife. The blood trail continues from the kitchen to an open window at the back of the house, then into the backyard, and finally to the body of Matthew Trussler, lying beside the swimming pool. His body is covered with multiple stab wounds and deep cuts. Officers immediately begin searching the house and collecting evidence. Melissa is then taken to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office for questioning.
There's a camera right there. Okay. Just so you know, that door right there is unlocked, okay? You know that you're not under arrest and you don't have to talk to us, right? How long have you been?
2.5 years. We're engaged.
Can you take us back to yesterday? From the time you guys woke up and to kind of how we got here today?
Yeah. As much as I can.
During the first stage of the interrogation, the detective focuses mainly on seemingly ordinary details. His goal is twofold. First, to apply emotional pressure and expose any contradictions in Melissa's statements. Second, to build an accurate timeline of everything that happened the previous day, hoping to uncover the moment when an argument or confrontation may have occurred between her and Matthew. Melissa claims that the day before had been completely normal. She says she woke up at 4:30 in the morning, just like she always did, and worked until 8. After that, she and Matthew took their dog for a walk. When they got home, she says she went into the garage to work out, while Matthew stayed inside cleaning the house. Later, they went grocery shopping together, so Matthew could prepare dinner. After sending a few emails and organizing some of the rooms, they ate dinner together. According to Melissa, they ended the evening with a few drinks, and there was no argument or conflict between them. Before we continue with the interrogation, it's worth taking a closer look at the layout of the interview room. In most interrogation rooms we've seen, the suspect is positioned in a corner, with their back close to the wall. But in this case, Melissa's chair is placed almost in the center of the room. The arrangement isolates her. It also leaves her feeling exposed and vulnerable. At this stage, the detectives are already playing a psychological game.
That's what we would do on a night when we didn't have to get up and do anything the next morning. We had drinks. He always liked drinking. He was a drinker.
Did he have would you say he had a drinking problem or no?
He had a drinking problem.
Okay.
His mom will tell you the same thing. He did. He would admit it himself.
What about you?
Me? No.
Besides the alcohol last night, were there any drugs?
No.
We're not the drug police, so
No.
I'm just asking.
No, he would never touch any of that. Because that was a deal breaker for me, and he knew that. He knew if he touched anything like that again, that he would lose me.
Okay.
That was my number one deal breaker with him. He touched it again, we were done. I didn't give a shit. That was it.
Matthew's struggle with substance abuse reached its peak back in 2015. According to the evidence, he later decided to turn his life around. He moved in with his brother, got clean, and by the time he met Melissa in 2017, he had reportedly been sober for quite some time. Now it's worth paying attention to Melissa's tone of voice during the interview. The moment she begins talking about the strict boundaries she had set for Matthew regarding drug use, her tone changes completely. Her controlling nature suddenly becomes much more noticeable. Remember, Melissa spent years experiencing rejection and ridicule during her childhood. Those emotional wounds may have left her with deep insecurity and a powerful need for control later in life. Her intense interest in acting, modeling, and constantly being the center of attention may also reflect a strong desire for admiration and validation from others. Taken together, these traits could suggest narcissistic personality characteristics. Let's return to the interrogation room. To better understand Melissa's mental state, it's also worth examining her body language. The most striking detail is how long she remains completely still in the same sitting position. It suggests a deliberate attempt to suppress her emotions. At the same time, it reflects both emotional discomfort and a conscious effort to stay calm while hiding her anxiety.
What time did you go to bed last night?
I mean, like I said, we were having some drinks, but I remember getting really tired around 10, and I just wanted to go to bed, and 10:30-ish was when I remember, 10:30, 11 maybe, is when I remember going to curl up on the chair, because I slept on that big chair that's in my little office area downstairs.
According to Melissa, on the morning of the incident, she overslept and didn't wake up until around 8:30. The detective then asks her a simple question. Is it possible that Matthew's death was an accident?
I don't know. I remember waking up and I didn't see him around. I saw the kitchen was. I didn't see him outside at first. I just told him that he was sitting in the chair, slumped over at the table. He was cold. I pulled him to the ground.
I know this must be very difficult for you.
It feels like a dream.
Matthew's body was found outside the house, near the swimming pool. The position of his body, along with the blood trail leading from the kitchen into the backyard, suggests that he was trying to escape after suffering his injuries. A deep cut on his right hand is classified as a defensive wound. It tells us that, during the attack, Matthew tried to protect himself. In other words, he recognized an immediate threat and attempted to stop or disarm his attacker. The blood spatter throughout the kitchen confirms that this was the primary scene of the assault. Based on the bloodstain patterns on the kitchen floor, investigators believe the victim fell to the ground at least once before attempting to flee. The upward angle of the blood spatter indicates that the attacker was standing and in control, while the victim was either bent over or already on the floor. The absence of a significant amount of blood around the broken glass also suggests that this part of the scene was likely disturbed after the attack in an attempt to mislead investigators.
Or did you hear anything?
No.
Last night?
No.
Like in the night?
No.
What do you think happened?
While detectives continue reviewing Melissa's statements in the interrogation room, the preliminary report from the medical examiner arrives at the sheriff's office. The report reveals new details about Matthew's injuries. In addition to the multiple wounds on his arms and legs, investigators discover a deep stab wound to his back. That injury alone completely rules out any theory of self-inflicted wounds. At this point, it's clear that a violent confrontation took place inside the house that night. Now, the important question becomes, did Melissa have any cuts, scratches, or injuries on her own body?
Do you have any injuries on your person?
No.
Any scratches or cuts or anything?
Yeah, I have a little cut right there.
And that's from what?
I think it's from grabbing the glass. Wait.
You know, where
I remember it was a hard rock glass, I believe, in the kitchen, and I think I picked up a piece of it on the floor.
was there any fighting or arguing last night? Do you all have a history of any kind of fighting or arguing?
Nothing. I mean, couples argue sometimes. We never really fought. We would argue.
So there was no arguing last night?
We were having a great time.
Before beginning the second round of questioning, which would be far more intense than the first, the detectives give Melissa a short break. During that time, photographs are taken of the injuries on her hands. Forensic investigators also collect her fingerprints and DNA samples. Meanwhile, members of the crime scene investigation team report an important discovery. While searching the area around the house, they notice that one of the neighbors has a security camera overlooking part of Melissa and Matthew's backyard. Although the camera isn't positioned at the perfect angle and fails to capture any useful video of the incident itself, it does record something that could become one of the most important pieces of evidence in the entire case. The audio you're about to hear was recorded by that security camera sometime between 4 and 4:30 in the morning, coming from inside Melissa and Matthew's home.
Tell me about what happened around 4 o'clock this morning. Was there any arguing?
At 4 o'clock, not that I know of.
Were you asleep at 4 o'clock this morning?
To my knowledge, yes.
8:45 is when the call came in, so you said about 20 minutes, maybe, even if you lost track of time, say you wake up at 8. Any time between, but at 11 last night to 8 this morning, did you have any argument?
No, not that I know of.
So we've been talking to the neighbors. There's cameras all over the neighborhood. There's Ring doorbell cameras and everything.
Okay.
Okay. Around 4 o'clock this morning, something happened at your house. That's why we're asking.
What were the neighbors saying? What?
It ain't what the neighbors are saying. It's what's on video. There's arguing coming from the house. It's a male and a female.
If it was at 4 in the morning, I will tell you right now, I did not stay up until 4 in the morning.
During the second half of the interrogation, Melissa initially tries to repeat the same version of events she gave earlier. But as the detectives increase the pressure and begin confronting her with new evidence, she is forced to slowly change her story. Now she suddenly remembers having a brief argument with Matthew because he woke her up at 4 o'clock in the morning for no reason. But when we compare that claim with the audio recording and the horrific way Matthew died, it becomes clear that the two of them experienced far more than just a minor argument that night. If you listen carefully to the recording, you won't hear Matthew shouting or behaving aggressively. Instead, he appears to be in a defensive and passive role. That alone makes it difficult to support any future claim that the injuries resulted from a minor struggle or an accidental stabbing. The sounds captured in the recording point toward a violent confrontation inside the house. At this moment, the detectives become certain that Melissa is deliberately hiding the darkest parts of her story, and Melissa realizes something as well. Between fighting and running, it's time to choose the second option.
Talking about it more now, thinking back on it, this is from me grabbing a knife out of his hand. I swear he'd never hit me, never laid a hand on me, even when drunk. I will not let his name go down like that. But I do remember pissing him off when I tried to get the knife out of his hand.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, my neck isn't from me. My jaw's sore, like I got hit. And I remember being thrown over the counter. He got pissed off, got a little more aggressive with what he was doing.
Okay, and how did you react?
I was scared at first. I'm not trying to be dumb about this. I'm a lawyer.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and conclude the interview at 14:06 hours.
The moment her attorney is requested, the interrogation comes to an immediate stop. The detectives leave the room. Melissa is left alone. Slowly, anxiety and panic begin to take over. The psychological state you're about to witness is a combination of guilt, acute dissociation, and overwhelming stress. Her mind is doing everything it can to deny the reality of what has just happened, trying to protect a psyche that is on the verge of collapse. At this point, Melissa is officially charged with second-degree murder.
This can't be my life. No. What is happening? Could you at least come in here and keep me company? I feel like I'm gonna fall apart. I can see you. Did I just get left in here now? Going to freeze me out? Can we please turn the AC off in here? Can I have a blanket? Oh God, it's so cold.
Thanks to the substantial income she earned from her career, Melissa is able to post bail without difficulty and is released. Soon afterward, she appears in a television interview where she tells an entirely new version of what happened that night.
We ended up struggling back and forth for the knife. I got my hand sliced open. He had pushed me into the countertop. I had marks on my stomach from it. And then turned me around and he had his hands around my throat.
According to Melissa's new account, she had been intoxicated and was knocked unconscious after receiving a blow to the head during the fight with Matthew. She says that when she regained consciousness, Matthew had placed the knife on the floor and was trying to strangle her once again. She claims she grabbed the knife and stabbed him once in the back, only to save her own life. In other words, she now argues that everything she did was an act of self-defense. The most strategic part of this new version of the story, likely with the guidance of her attorney, is her insistence that she stabbed Matthew only once in the back. She specifically denies causing the wounds on his hands. Since the medical examiner had already concluded that the fatal injury was the wound to Matthew's hand, Melissa carefully avoids admitting responsibility for the injury that actually caused his death. That raises an important question. If this was truly self-defense, why didn't she tell the detectives any of this during her interrogation on the very first day?
I was confused, uncomfortable, and my head was pounding. I had told them so many times about my head, and I told them that I couldn't think straight because of it.
In addition to all the evidence we've already discussed, two more critical pieces of evidence were introduced during the trial. The first was footage from a motion-activated security camera installed inside the house. According to the video, at 3:39 a.m., Melissa walks into one of the rooms. 3 minutes later, Matthew enters the kitchen. Melissa follows immediately behind him, with what prosecutors describe as a look of hatred on her face. At 4:09 a.m., Melissa walks to the front door, stops there, and begins talking to herself. At this point, the prosecution points to a faint reddish stain on her right hand, suggesting it may be blood. The final clip was recorded approximately 4 hours later. At 8:35 a.m., Melissa can be seen walking through the house, appearing as though she has just woken up. After the footage is played in court, the defense attorney challenges the prosecution's interpretation. He argues that the video quality is far too poor to confirm whether the mark on Melissa's hand is actually blood. He also maintains that everything Melissa did was done in self-defense, and that Matthew's death was the result of his own aggressive behavior while intoxicated and struggling with mental health issues. The defense further claims that the audio recorded by the neighbor's security camera had been manipulated, making Melissa's voice sound louder than it actually was.
So it could be that maybe one voice on the recording was not amplified and that another voice on the recording was greatly amplified.
The second key piece of evidence was the smartwatch found on Matthew's wrist at the crime scene. The data stored on the watch revealed that his heart stopped beating at exactly 4:31 a.m. That timestamp closely matches the moment when Melissa can be heard saying. Now, there's another important issue worth discussing. Melissa didn't call the police until 4 hours after Matthew's death. That delay alone strongly suggests that her actions were intentional. We know that this amount of time is often used to assess the scene and construct a new version of what happened. The 4-hour delay before contacting emergency services is also inconsistent with genuine shock or with the behavior typically seen in legitimate self-defense cases. More importantly, the fact that she never attempted to provide immediate medical assistance to Matthew suggests that protecting herself had become a higher priority than trying to save his life.
There were times where he would push me and punch the walls beside my head. He would stare off at some corners and he would tell me that there's a demon standing right there. There were times where he would talk in a different voice.
Did that frighten you?
God, yes. I was terrified.
You're crying right now. Is that what's happening? Are you crying right now?
Do you know what tears look like?
Are you crying because you can just cry on cue?
I'm crying because my life is on the line right now. I'm crying because I still remember all those places, all those plans.
Finally, on February 18th, 2022, after 5 days of trial and approximately 8 hours of deliberation, the jury unanimously found Melissa Turner guilty of second-degree murder with a deadly weapon. The court sentenced her to 20 years and 6 months in prison.
And yeah, goodbye.